So is a PhD really only valuable in academia? For literally decades, there's been this massive misconception out there. The assumption has pretty much always been that doctoral degrees belong exclusively in the ivory tower, tucked away in university libraries, labs, lecture halls, completely disconnected from the fast-paced reality of the corporate world. But actually, we really need to shatter that myth right now.
Because welcome to the new era of business. We're operating in this rapidly evolving, highly volatile environment. Things like artificial intelligence, climate risk, cyber threats, and just massive geopolitical uncertainty. They're reshaping industries literally overnight. And those traditional solutions we used to rely on, they're completely inadequate for these new interconnected challenges. Today's landscape requires a totally different kind of problem solver.
Okay, let's dive into this explainer. We're going to be exploring the work of Dr. Sonjai Kumar, who has brilliantly mapped out how to transform doctoral expertise into real-world value. Let's see exactly why the doctoral mindset is, honestly, a total secret weapon for modern business.
Here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll cover 1. The doctoral misconception, 2. Experience versus evidence, 3. Bridging the gap, 4. 7 essential competencies, and finally, 5. Deciding under uncertainty.
Section 1. The doctoral misconception, rethinking the value of a PhD.
Moving to Section 2. Experience versus evidence, moving past intuition. So, to really understand the true value of a PhD, think about how most professionals operate day to day. They rely heavily on experience-based thinking. They build expertise over years and years, which yields great practical insights and intuition. But there's a massive blind spot here. Experience relies entirely on assumptions based on past observations. If you've never seen a problem before, well, experience alone isn't going to help you. A doctoral scholar, on the other hand, is trained in evidence-based thinking. This means systematic inquiry and critical evaluation. They don't just guess. They define problems accurately and systematically test hypotheses.
And this brilliantly illustrates the danger of traditional consulting. Say a company's profitability is declining. Experience-based thinkers might jump right in and try to treat that symptom, maybe by slashing costs or tweaking marketing. But declining profitability is just the surface level. The evidence-based approach digs deeper. They ask, wait, why is this actually happening? They hunt for the root cause, stuff like poor product design or shifting customer behaviors that are hidden just beneath the surface.
Dr. Kumar sums this up perfectly with this really powerful medical analogy. Quote, "In consulting, clients often bring us the pain. Research helps us identify the disease. Treating the pain might make the client feel better for, say, a week, but identifying and actually curing the disease, that's what provides robust, sustainable, and long-term solutions."
Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds. Bridging the gap, academia meets industry.
One of the most practical benefits of doctoral training is how incredibly seamlessly research methodology maps onto business consulting. Just notice how the academic framework on the left translates directly to business complexity on the right. Defining a research question? That's just defining a business problem. Collecting data is gathering organizational evidence. And that rigorous process of analyzing findings to diagnose issues, testing hypotheses to evaluate alternatives, and developing conclusions to recommend solutions, it's literally identical. It replaces gut feeling with total objective discipline. Because of this exact overlap, modern organizations desperately need professionals who can operate comfortably across all three domains: academia, consulting, and industry. Historically, these were seen as totally separate worlds. Academia created the knowledge, and industry focused on the practical outcomes. But consulting? Consulting acts as the essential bridge, transforming all that rich theoretical knowledge into actionable, practical solutions.
And why is this bridge so absolutely critical right now? Because we are entering emerging, uncharted territories. I'm talking about generative AI governance, climate risk management, cyber resilience, ESG integration, and sustainability reporting. In these areas, historical data is incredibly limited. Cause and effect relationships are just totally unclear. Traditional experience-based models flat out fail here, simply because there's no experience to draw from. But a doctoral scholar, they're trained precisely for these data-poor environments. Their exploratory skills are absolutely crucial when the rulebook hasn't even been written yet.
Now, what's really interesting about this next part? Section 4, 7 Essential Competencies, the Doctoral Toolkit.
This toolkit goes way beyond technical subject matter expertise. A PhD develops a highly sought-after set of skills to break down pure chaos into actionable insights.
First, you have critical thinking, to constantly question assumptions. Problem structuring, to break down massive, unwieldy business challenges into manageable pieces. Data analysis, to convert vast amounts of data into actual recommendations. Then add in research and investigation, the ability to manage ambiguity when the answers are super unclear, executive communication and storytelling, and finally, the sheer resilience and project management required to see a massive, multi-year project through to the finish line.
So, the crucial point is, Section 5, deciding under uncertainty, the ultimate competitive advantage.
All of those competencies we just talked about combine to create the absolute ultimate competitive advantage for any organization. Let's ground this abstract concept of uncertainty in a very real-world example, the COVID-19 pandemic. Literally overnight, organizations faced increased mortality risk, completely altered customer behavior, disrupted supply chains, and incredibly volatile financial markets. Suddenly, every single historical model became totally unreliable. There were simply no established playbooks to rely on.
In that kind of chaos, applying existing knowledge just doesn't work, right? Because the existing knowledge is obsolete. The real advantage is the ability to generate new understanding. That right there is the doctoral advantage. It's the ability to gather incomplete information, analyze multiple competing scenarios, challenge old assumptions, and, this is critical, revise your conclusions as new evidence actually emerges. When certainty vanishes, the ability to systematically develop new, evidence-based recommendations is a massive game-changing advantage for any organization.
It all leads to this incredible realization. A PhD is not training in knowing the answers. It is training in finding answers when nobody knows them. It's a complete transformation of character, mindset, and capability. It is not merely some academic certificate to hang on your wall. It is the ultimate preparation for leading through the unknown.
And that leaves us with this final, vital question. How will your research create value for industry, society, and future generations? Because the degree might mark the end of your academic journey, but its real purpose is to serve as a lifelong platform to take what you've learned, step out into the chaos of the real world, and create a lasting, meaningful impact. So think about how you can bridge that gap today.